Yeah, Joy Entertainment. The producer made it up.
I am
Yeah.
asking who the cake makers are.
The cake makers.
Yeah.
I think it was
Karina.
Karina. Yeah, Karina.
Karina.
Yeah, Karina.
Cakes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
George, if Rasta hadn't missed out of attending Achimota Secondary School, he might have had some. He would have had some cake.
You know what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me
Okay.
tell you this.
Yeah.
Ever since like I had the strength or the right to choose my school of choice, I wanted to attend Achimota.
Oh, okay.
And then
For
so I ended up in Kufrudi Sectec.
Oh, Kofridia Sectec is all right.
Oh no, it's
It's a good
I
school.
mean,
It's a good
yeah,
school.
but whilst we are at it, quickly, George.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, under this administration, government, I can cite the hosting of the Independence Day anniversary celebrations in Tamale.
Yeah.
A year of return.
Yeah.
As one of the most like serious and like very up there
Yeah.
in terms of achievements. I mean, it encompasses everything,
I want
national
to see how you
development.
land.
Yeah, I'm also
But
I want to see how you land.
believe you me,
Yeah.
I would put, having cited these two, I would put the decision, the directive from the Ghana Education Service to
Okay.
Allow the Rasta back
allow
in
the
school.
dreadlock
The
wearing.
dreadlock guy back in school.
But I want to reach out to another shade of
The
dreadlock wearing people.
Okay.
You see, these people, those who have been sanctioned to live in like Achimota School,
Yeah.
wearing locks, they are Rastafarians. The other people too who are dreadlock wearing,
But not
Ghanaians,
Rastafarians.
and some of them were born with locks.
Okay.
They've been decreed or preordained from heaven to man some of our shrines. Now, you see, say when you be Rasta, when you go to water school, you for sure proof of being a Rastafarian.
Yeah.
But when you are supposed to end up in Akonode or any of the 77 girls in Cape Coast or anywhere, and you want to educate yourself, please, I beg you, don't go to Achimota School any place with some shinap or some egg and some ninya leaves. Say that be your proof of reason you for well. I beg you, find a Rastafarian card. It no be a big deal to get.
Let's move forward.
George, no, Rastas have suffered.
Please, I don't have a lot of time today.
I
Let's move
beg
forward.
you, Rasta matters.
055 11 997. You can be a part of the show. Sadiq, welcome. How you doing?
Tell I'm good.
All fired up for next week?
Yes, I mean.
We're going to go
stressed
deep
now.
into it today,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's why we're here. Mr. Boet.
Yes, I have been reeling from disappointment to disappointment, but there was a silver lining. First, it was the orchestration by the administration of the law school to get the SRC president out, who had just two months to go. I mean, I really felt sad. And then this issue of the student being turned.
Are you at the law school now?
No. But I mean,
What business of it is yours?
But it's
I mean, I
better
think
than
that
our stories
it's
today.
symbolic of, let's not get into that.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
it is something about our society,
Yeah.
and the kind of society that has been built where we don't want to encourage dissent.
In
And
a
for
way,
me, my
in a
point
way.
is that we are training a group of people who are not challenging the system. So our ministers can never challenge our economic situation. When they go and have big meetings, we are not thinking outside the box in our department, in governance, because we're not training Ghanaians to think outside the box. So we shouldn't be surprised where we are today. Any school administration should be happy when their students go on demonstration and resist them. Then they should know that they are training students who would eventually rock the status quo and bring about the change that we so need. But if you're a school administration and your students don't talk, they don't challenge you, and you feel that because you have controlled the students and the students are disciplined, of course we are looking for discipline, but know that you are failing in your work of training students who will come out and challenge the kind of society that we find ourselves in.
in.
But I was happy that GS resented.
It was a
allowed
pretty
us
it,
to
was a
yes.
pretty good one. At least
progressive.
it's forward
George,
looking. Yes,
George,
okay.
please, can I have a bite on that?
Please go ahead.
Because I didn't, I
okay.
didn't speak on anything when
Yeah.
you introduced
Yes.
me. I just said hello, and that was it. And this Rastafarian issue, I sit back and I ask myself, is it true that Rastafarians are accepted in other schools? For instance, I saw all over on Facebook that Accra accept Rastafarians in their school.
Or
Is that true?
dreadlock wearing.
Or a dreadlock
students.
wearing student, in their school. Is that true, George? Do you know?
I think it's been confirmed. I think the gentleman
I wouldn't know.
My issue is simply this. if it is accepted in other GES schools, why was it an issue
In Achimota.
in Achimota? I can understand schools having rules and regulations. But if one set has different rules and regulations to the others, then the confusion that will arise. It's because I understand other Rastafarians or dreadlock wearing people have been turned away from Achimota School in the past.
Not just Achimota. In
Other
Fancy
schools.
Mine School,
Yeah.
turned away Zara. She's now my very good friend. And she ended up in Oda. You know, straight A students.
Let's-
So all I'm saying
Like
is
I
that
said,
it
yeah.
has to be a national conversation on it.
So
So
that-
we agree on what to do going forward.
Oh,
Not
we have
just in
agreed.
schools, but
Going
even in
forward,
some
Gentlemen,
corporate environments,
we are done
you
on
know.
this one. Let's move forward.
Rasta like this
The
can't
point
work
has
in a
well
bank.
has been well made. Moving forward, bringing the conversation to our industry today. One of our legends go home when it comes to photography.
Oh, yes.
Bob Pixel was buried earlier today, and I don't know if any of you has any short words to share for him. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, Bob owes me an edited picture.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I mean, I remember when he first came and he set up back then when we were doing student politics in
Yeah.
Legon. I had a cousin who said, hey, Bob, let's go and take a picture for our politics and all of that. So we went. I mean, obviously, we're students. We didn't have any cash, but he was gracious enough to take us some pictures. And I was supposed to go back and edit them. But since then, I've known him for almost a decade now, actually. And we meet at events and functions, and he contributed enormously to the revolution of photography that we see.
He did.
You know, of course, photographers have always been with us, but we kind of like had this idea of photo hanging, his camera moving, and it wasn't like an exalted art form. But with the advent of people like Bob Pixel, Yao Pare, they connected to that global brand of photography and created a whole new industry out of it for corporate, for families, weddings. And so today we salute Bob. My condolences to the wife, the children, and the family. And we pray that the portrait that he has left of his spiritual life would endear him in the afterlife, and he would find himself in the bosom of the angels of the Lord and shall live happily ever after. So, yeah, Bob, journey on well, my friend.
Power to go.
George,
Yes, Uncle Ken.
who passed a few weeks ago that we sat in this studio and
It was Bob.
It was Bob.
Bob.
He's been buried today.
Same person.
Yeah,
it was the same
the
person?
same person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same person.
And there are a lot of people out there asking, who is Bob Pixel?
Yes.
Yeah.
The circle of people who know him or knew him, we can again ask ourselves, all the works that we're talking about that people out there today are wondering, what works are these guys talking about? Did we project the works?
Oh, a lot of them were put up on social
probably
media.
saw
A
them
lot of
without
his
even
works.
seeing
I
Exactly.
saw a
I'm
lot of them on
saying
social
that
media.
social
Yeah.
media was-
Yeah.
As for the pictures, they are always projected, though. People steal them
Personality,
Yeah.
and use them for their own personal,
Yeah.
objectives.
I get where you're going.
Yes.
It's about time somebody like this, maybe the Museums and Monuments Board should curate some of his works, put them up on display somewhere, a brief history about him on the side, and then you can see some of the words. Or if there's an art museum or
And the
something like that in
personality
Ghana,
behind the
and
works
personality behind the works, then
is
they do
the
a little
most important
profile
thing.
on him.
Yeah.
I get you. The next track is in his honor and in his memory.
George, you don't
yes.
make a talk
Oh,
show.
sorry. Go ahead. Yes. Very quickly. Yes.
It's actually very quick.
Yeah.
Listen, since Oman Hene, the former king of Fukwapman,
Yeah.
passed, Adedankwa,
Yeah.
Osiadio,
We'll say at the-
even throughout the whole process, and even with the installation of
the new-
Bobby,
Yeah.
Bobby,
Bobby was a. Yeah. Bobby.
he
That's
was
the name.
our guy. I can't
Yeah.
remember. He took
Well,
a
that's the full
photo.
name.
Yeah.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. He took a photo of myself, Nana Yadako,
Yeah.
George
George
Dako.
Dako. Yeah.
and Shushu.
Yeah.
Your departed
Yeah.
friend.
And
Yeah.
Shushu
The late Shushu.
was always on my case that listen, Chapa di ene ke
Take
photo
a photo
out.
of.
And just this morning, I was having a chat with Rob Photography because you see the thing where Chief you just mentioned about photographers being stereotypical in a certain papa photo kind of thing. Rob Photography gets some shoe. When you see the shoe, no, you don't say be photographer. So I see the shoe where I say, see, Bobie was the kind of different
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
He was with us.
Yeah.
I mean, from Legon all the way through to, and his contribution to fashion, for instance. Listen, you don't need to have that money. But be once time is permitting, would always be there. When I heard that he had passed, I mean, I've been off social media for a while, so I heard it belatedly, but rest in peace, bro.
You've been off only Facebook, not social media. They say only Facebook.
That's why I waste my life. So,
Thank you.
like, it's sort of.
May his soul rest in peace. This is for him. Showbiz This Week presentation that the court had thrown out an injunction case against the musical elections. Let me give you a brief of that. And Accra High Court yesterday, not yet, that was I think Thursday morning, or was it Wednesday, dismissed the election petition brought before it by Ras Kaliba Pia Levi, presidential aspirant for the Musicians Union of Ghana elections. That's the presidency, musical presidency, that is. Mr. Ahuma Bosco Kanseke Daddy Bosco, the communications director of the union, in an interview said the court described the application as lacking merit. According to him, the development would come as good news for the association as they hope to elect new executives to spearhead the activities of the union for the next 4 years. I've got the man Razapia Levi on the line. Let me just have a quick word with him because I'm pretty deflated. I didn't expect this kind of event. Hello.
Hello.
Raz, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good by His grace and mercy. I'm doing very good.
We thank God. We heard that your petition against the musical elections had been thrown out.
This is the language of somebody who wants to be mischievous.
Oh, no. Well,
Yeah.
when I'm seated here, I'm speaking on behalf of the listeners. I know because I'm in the industry, but there may be thousands of listeners out there who may not know. So you speak on their behalf and say you have heard. Then it gives you an opportunity to either confirm, deny, and go ahead to explain exactly how it happened. So it's no mischief at all, sir.
I'm not talking about you and the listeners, but the one who wrote what you read.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. I get it.
The case is not rubbish to be thrown out.
Exactly.
I would term it as error in judgment.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is a case. First of all, let me greet your listeners, Joy FM listeners, and my noble kindred in the studios.
Exactly. They greet you back, sir.
Yes. This is a case that 3 or 4 judges have sat on it, and I have all information, all evidence regarding to that. I have not yet got the reports. The ruling, my lawyer has requested for it. That's why I have not come out to talk about it. By next week, I will get it. But I think the judge stood on Article 7.5.2 or .3, which states that no member of the Musicians Union of Ghana, that no member shall take the Musicians Union of Ghana or any executive or member to court unless he passed the complaint through arbitration and disciplinary committee, of which I did. And I gave evidence of it, the letters that I wrote, and even the mediation meeting we had with the deputy minister, the minutes of it all. But the judge didn't use it, even though we presented it. But anyway, it is not musical that I'm fighting. And I would like to inform you that the constitution that they were using for the election is wrong.
Okay.
We are supposed to use the amended constitution of 2018 when we went to Cape Coast at the conference to review and amend the constitution. I was expecting that. So why should we use the constitution of 2015? Okay, and even that one has been tampered with. And I would even, if it is like, I don't know, to NGO, but government side, if you tamper with the constitution of the Republic of Ghana, is a treason felony. And this is what they did in Article 11 regarding to the election and the election committee. It is there. And that constitution is what they presented to the court when we went to the court. A wrong constitution.
But why didn't you challenge it then?
Why didn't I challenge it?
Yes.
That's why we are going to go for an appeal.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's good. The musical elections will go on this year. I trust me, it will go on. By August, I know it will go on. But like my father's house in Boso, we have 17 steps, and when we are climbing to the top, we start from step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 17. We don't jump.
But Ras, I'm a little lost. Your lawyer was in court representing you, and
yes,
he could tell that something had been tampered with. He was in court and allowed a wrong judgment to be passed and didn't challenge it. Why?
You see, in the court, we didn't go there. I put to you. No. Everybody writes his or her submission. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, it's not like they put you in the docket and ask you questions to answer, this and that. So, as we get the ruling, when we get the ruling, based on what I heard the judge who gave the ruling was not the judge who started with. He doesn't even. I don't think that he even went thoroughly through the ruling or whatever thing. The ruling that was given, oh my bro, I tell you, even I slept well that day. I slept well that day because I realized that something fishy is going on. How come the confusion? How come music, compared with the constitution that we are using for elections? That is why the reason why I went to court is regarding to the constitution.
So Ras, let us move forward. It looks like the line is a little unclear. If you can position yourself properly. Moving forward, you have mentioned that the musical elections would go on. It means you're going to allow it to go on, right? But you've also mentioned that you're going back to court. So which is which? Which is going first?
Not to hold the elections. That was my it's 2 issues.
Okay.
The forensic audit regarding to accountability before the election. Okay, the elections only the second one.
Okay.
Okay. Why should we go to conference to review the constitution? Because of what has been done to the constitution of the union.
Right.
That's why we're having problems.
So the
It's
reason
like
you're going to
people-
go back to court is to get the constitution issue addressed.
Yes.
That's
The
great.
constitution.
So the elections are going to happen. Are you going to still contest? Are you still contesting?
Oh, I'll contest. I'll contest.
Great.
No, I'll contest. I've been a member of this since 39 years. Why should I go? Because people say, why should I appeal if I go to court? Because most people who speak about these issues don't know what is going on in the union. They just talk about it. I have been around Musica in the 9 regions, including here 10. We have nothing. We have nothing, and going to do one election. And you started with fraudulent activities. Come on, I'm not fighting Musica. I'm rather liberating Musica
Exactly.
from, excuse me to say, from vampires. They don't care about the members.
So Ras,
It's like a hell.
in wrapping it up, with the legal tussle that you've had, you know, in your rescue attempt, as you put it, to rescue Musica, don't you feel the membership, some may be frustrated and tired and all that? Don't you think it's going to affect your
The
chances
members
at
are
the
not
president?
frustrated.
Don't you think your chances, you know, your shot at winning the presidency could be affected?
Let me tell you, if I will assist to cleanse the musicians' union of Ghana, and after that go for elections and they vote against me, I will sleep because I'm in my present time. I won't use my energy in a place that I'm not wanted. It is not if I have to listen to what people say. That means they are going to be drowned. Many people don't know. They talk about this guy, they chop money, Mr. Do this and that. And I've been there. And that is not the one there. I am the one there. I know what is going on there. I'm not doing this because I want to be the president of the musicians in Ghana. I have 2 NGOs, which I'm the president, Pan-African Ghana, and WG International. If you want to be president, go and set up an NGO and you're the president. This is not that. This is not that. This is a union I want to lead. And look at the rot that is inside the union. And nobody's talking about it.
Well,
Because Rapapia wants to be the president of the Union. That's why he's doing this. No.
Russ, what we're going to do right now is to wish you the very best at the elections.
so much.
We would do well to follow it keenly. And hey, don't. If there's anything that you like to put out there, Showbiz A to Z, this is your home. You're always welcome.
Good.
We'll put it out there, and we'll
I
keep
love
an
that.
eye on it and hope that everything is done amicably. Because if Musica works, it works well for all of us. Because we're a radio station and we interact with music, so we all wish the very best of Musica. So we wish you the
So
very
always
best.
I remember you on Ghana Good.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. This is your home.
All right.
I mean, we're all family. And we wish you the very best. All the best,
Thank you
Russ.
so
All
much,
right.
my brother.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And that is Russ Apia Levi. And we're going to wish him the very best. Gentlemen, you heard Russ. The Musica thing has been thrown out of court, and they are all in the clear now for elections. Uncle Ken.
Yeah. George,
Yeah.
there's something I want clarity on.
Yes.
Both you and Noella,
Yes.
in bits and pieces of your presentation, refer to this thing as a petition. In actual fact, when you were introducing the issue before you called RAS, you introduced it as a court injunction being thrown out. Then halfway through,
as an injunction on their elections. You know, an injunction was
yeah.
placed on the election.
Yeah.
So that whole case, maybe the introduction was
yes,
faulty,
then
but yeah.
because all I'm trying to say is that it was an injunction,
Injunction,
not a petition.
yes, exactly. It was an injunction
Not a
on their
petition.
elections,
Okay.
exactly.
Now, something that Ras said has gotten me thinking, because a similar issue has arisen with the Gamro matters.
Matters, yeah.
He's talking about a new constitution being brought into being, and that the elections are not being held according to the tenets of the new constitution, but the older one, which has been, I don't know whether it has been thrown away, because he's talking of a new constitution. And in the Gamro instance, I hear a similar thing
Yeah.
being said,
Yeah.
that Gamro are organizing their elections based on the old constitution, which is no more in vogue. I find this worrying, because if people have gone to Congress and voted for a new constitution, I assume that that new constitution is what should be, used in any future elections
you do have
or
a point
whatever.
there, yeah.
But it looks like in both cases, the folks organizing the elections are depending on the older constitution to organize the elections. And that's what has brought about a lot of controversy.
The brouhaha.
The brouhaha. I need legal education on this. Whether the older constitution still holds till after the elections, before a new constitution is brought into being.
It would depend on the court process.
Exactly, but if they had gone to Congress and voted for a new constitution to be brought, I assume that it is the new constitution that should
That's
be
going to be used.
and
that was
But it needs
why
to be
I
confirmed.
asked.
It needs to
Sorry,
be
hold on.
confirmed,
That
though.
was why I asked that if your lawyer was there and all this was going on, why didn't he object?
No, I don't think the injunction was on the constitution.
Or was on the constitution.
Yes.
So that's a different
Yes,
case.
yes.
He did explain
Exactly.
that. That's a different
He's
case.
explaining the
So let's
idea.
see how that one would go. And he said that he's going back to court to
Okay.
fight
Yes,
that.
yeah.
So let's
So let's
hope.
see what
But you
his
see, the
appeal-
interesting thing is that if the new constitution, because the new constitution also has issues that affect the election. Now, let us assume the election goes on. And they get their president, they get their everything, and then this court thing goes through, and Russ wins his case,
Exactly.
and then the new constitution is adopted, and it has issues that go against the elections that have just been held.
It should be
what
declared
happens?
null and void.
Interesting.
But the new constitution, obviously, they would have their own internal.
That's when we will have an election
Exactly.
petition.
Yeah, but they would have their
Exactly.
own internal.
After the elections.
Yeah, they would have their own internal ways of adopting new constitutions. First and foremost, it needs to be confirmed. As it
Yeah.
stands now, we all don't know.
We
if
don't know.
what
We don't know,
Ross is
yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
regarding the new constitution
Yeah.
is true or not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, let's see how his appeal pans out
Yeah.
and what the court says regarding that. But, I mean, in the absence of that, for me, I think that he's just submitting himself to the elections.
You call him a litigant. Say so.
privately. Privately.
No, I think
Because I mean, but I don't think that using the word litigant.
Oh, no, it's not
is-
derogatory.
it's not a bad
it
word.
isn't.
Yes,
It isn't.
it's likely that
Yeah.
he's litigating for good reasons.
Right.
And he said it a number of times
Yeah.
that for him, the more reason why he's litigating and going through all this process
For
and
the
everything
betterment of
is for the
music.
betterment of the organization.
And every
he's
institution
trying to
needs
achieve
someone
the
like that.
Oh, yes.
Every
So-
institution needs someone like that.
Yes.
It helps keep the institution on its toes.
Yeah,
It helps
but
keep
there just
everyone
has to be
awake
a
and all
point
that.
where-
There has to be a point where you let things go.
Yes, and then
But
you-
every institution needs someone like, and I think he's doing great. Russ.
No, just before he comes,
Okay.
I was expecting in your interview
Yes.
to have asked Ras why a supporter of his took panelists on this show on.
Yes.
Oh, I
It escaped you, eh?
No,
This is
it didn't. But I
I
have
want to glorify him. Or glorify
but that was
such
serious.
antics.
Uncle Ken, do you realize that a lot of people out there do not even know what we are talking about?
I know.
And that is why, for me, I'm of the opinion when you're bathing and a madman comes to remove your towel, you don't go chasing him. The gentleman, I don't even know. I don't want to know. I
No,
don't
but
want to give him that
wanted
relevance.
you to have
No.
made Ras aware.
Because Russ is very much aware, I'm sure. I don't think Russ is not aware. Russ is definitely aware. So there was no point bringing it up. Somebody is desperately craving for relevance. Joy 99.7 is too big to pay attention to
Okay.
trivialities. So let's move forward. Russ,
There were some threats in there, though. That
Exactly.
it's still
Exactly.
trivialities. So let's move forward. I mean, no
Uncle
point.
Ken, thank you very much. This is the first time I'm getting to know that somebody
That's how
is
one
looking for me.
No, I want to see what I can do. I can get one casa.
I won't land. I will crash if I attempt it.
Listen,
He was still in the birthday mood. He was
I
taking more hostages.
think that issues that confront
You know,
music
Yemi.
are
I said you're taking more
I know, yeah,
hostage.
I know. Listen,
Yeah.
if the issue has been wheeled or put on a serving tray and or dragged out of court, it is what it is, But again, if he did not have, I'm not sure he's doing this for sport.
No, I don't think so.
He's a very serious guy.
Very.
He lives just right here. I've had the honor of being hosted in his home, and if he's home, he's in like a library kind
just
of.
right away. Yeah, Joy FM.
He's in a library kind of setting, like it's a lot, and he's a very analog guy, not digital. So he writes everything down. He's that serious.
He's
Rasta
meticulous.
man. So when he's throwing down his one stone, guy, kakra fa ho,
It's a
you
number
go
of
hear
stones.
am. You go
It's a
hear
number
am.
of stones.
So for me, it's if at the end of the day, it will mean that the paramount welfare body for musicians in Ghana would be better off, would be an improvement on the Obo situation, which, by the way, and in my opinion, is unprecedented with regards to the initiatives, the professionalism.
He set
the
high
respect.
standards.
That's true.
So, if that's what's going to happen, then long may it continue. But if at the end of the day, he wouldn't be in a position to, and he said that he's not doing it because he wants to lead the union. He's doing it because the right things ought to be done. For me, being, a non-dues paying member of the union, I would rather a situation where the conversation or some efforts are being made to look at leadership proper of the Musicians Union of Ghana, because welfare is the reason people confuse Musica with Gamro and give it a bad name, because Musica is not supposed to collect royalties for anybody. Musica is like, ideally should even serve as a consulting agency
Think
to
tank,
the new
advocacy group.
the courts that are supposed to be set
Creative Arts
up,
Court.
the
Creative Arts Court.
the creative arts, the
Copyright code.
The copyright courts. Okay.
there should be, ideally, if it were in good standing, it should be the must go to one-stop shop for lawyers who might have issues, because there are lots of, ideally there should be quality there, but it doesn't look good. So for me, in as much as it is not my lawyer fair that my uncle Apia Ras Levi is taken to court, and it doesn't impede my COVID vaccination. I think that once it is stilled in his fundamental human rights as chief litigant numero un, long may it continue.
Chief,
I have nothing further to add.
you have nothing for Rasta has said it all. All right.
Has
So
Sadiq spoken?
Sadiq has spoken already. Yes, Sadiq has spoken already. So we're going straight into the Grammys very quickly, so that we can go into 3 music and give it the most of our
Like
time
Grammys
today.
is in
Ghana
Ghana.
Grammys.
No. The Ghana Grammys will be the 3
The
music
one
awards.
people are
The one that
tearing
people
sweat.
are tearing. I mean, really, my question is pretty simple.
Those who didn't go some.
Are Ghanaians overreacting with this thing and all the things we are telling our artists and do work and do that and do that? Are Ghanaians really overreacting? Chief, you want to start on this one?
Oh, well, I mean, we have to understand it within a context, and I agree with I forget his name in his article.
Shatawale
Ghana and
or who?
Nigeria, we have a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
Someone argued that Africans have won the Grammys in time past. Black Smith Mambo,
South Africans.
South
Yeah.
Africa, Angelina Kudjo last year. There wasn't this whole uproar.
Yeah.
But the thing about Ghana and Nigeria is that when something positive happens in one country, the other country will take it as an opportunity to criticize themselves. So when Akufo-Addo, our president, gave some very important speech somewhere that gets a lot of international attention, the Nigerians will be shading Buhari.
president.
When Africa Facts or something shows some infrastructural development in Ghana, then the Nigerians will take it and so it's just the same thing, that when it comes to Ghana and Nigeria, we have this relationship. So if Burna Boy and Wizkid have been able to win a Grammy, then we're asking ourselves, if they are there, why not us? So we have to understand that within the context. Obviously, I mean, Grammy is an American award, right? So I mean, it is primarily for American artists. There's a category for international acts, global music, where everyone around the world is competing for. Personally, I don't think that there should be that much concentration on winning a Grammy. It is nice if they do win a Grammy. America is a cultural hegemonic power around the world. So if you are recognized in that market, it means that you are reaching the world in a way. So if our artists can and do win Grammy Awards, why not? We'd all celebrate. But I don't think there should be a fixation on our part that, yeah, we have to win a Grammy at all costs. I mean, I'm saying we're trying to enter and win Grammys, but we haven't even broken into the Nigerian market. We haven't broken into the Burkina Faso market. We haven't broken into the South African market. There's a huge market out there for us to even begin to break into. And we must understand that it is not out of any exceptional brilliance that Brian, what's his name? Burna Boy won. I mean, of course he's good, but he's coming out of a system and decades of Nigerian music gaining African and then global attention. You go around Africa today, Nigerian music reigns, right? So the likes of P Square and all of those people, man, D'banj, started that revolution for these young Nigerian acts, for which now has led to some kind of acceptance in the global community for people like Burna Boy and Wesco to win. So even if we do want to get there, then the question is, how are we making our music ubiquitous? How are we making our music travel beyond our borders for other people to embrace it? So for me, I don't think we should really beat ourselves over this. Yes, the conversation will come around because our brothers in Nigeria have won, but eventually it will die down and we'll have to get back to the serious conversation about how do we promote our music industry, how do we enter the immediate market, the low-hanging fruit, as the accounts will say, and I say,
Sadiq.
Yes, for me, I think that. I mean, all the things that.
George,
Yes.
please let me speak before Sadiq.
Okay. All right.
Because he.
Uncle Ken, what did you call me?
Huh?
What did you call me? I said.
I saw. Did you see SHC's rant? No. So I saw SHC's writing saying, in this whole wild world, there's no Akpache like George. He was writing, I was like, Masechi, where to go on? Only for me to see the final part to say, watch him on IE. And then you know what he's talking about.
Yes, the day is an interesting
Uncle Ken,
series.
I'm still dealing with the Abuaje. It's not gone. Please don't start this new.
Akpache IE.
I is such an Apache. You know what? This whole Grammys thing.
Yeah.
And Chief, please, I beg you, I do not like it when people try to, in a way, downplay
It's exceptional brilliance.
the brilliance of Burna Boy. Because I've heard a few people say, "Oh, but Burna Boy cry." I mean, it is nothing exceptional.
I hope I'm not downplaying.
No, but you.
I sounded like it.
You sounded like
It was
you
within
were,
a context.
Yeah, you were also trying to downplay. I mean, he's been brilliant. Simply put, over the past couple of years in whatever he's been doing. But what amazes me is we Ghanaians had 2 nominations. Not so prior to this.
One.
Rocky.
But the Rocky one.
Rocky and Fuse.
Fuse, yes, Fuse.
But
Actually,
you see,
3.
actually 3.
And the producer.
And then Kill Beats.
And the Kill Beats.
Yeah, Kill Beats.
Actually 3. But with have you noticed that with Fuse and Rocky,
Or Rocky, yeah.
ask yourself, did we as a country, even before their nomination,
Amplify.
do anything to get them there? One, Rocky's music is hardly played in Ghana. George,
Yes, that's true.
am I lying?
Hardly, yeah.
Rocky's music is hardly played in Ghana.
The one that ended the nomination.
Yes.
And the ones before.
And the ones
That's
before,
the ones
they're
before.
hardly played. Only a few people played his music.
The in Ghana song.
In Ghana, his own country. Is it
also because maybe previously it was not really vested here?
exactly?
Down there.
That's the point I'm coming to. Is it because they don't live here with us, so we do not kind of highlight their achievements till they get there? Even when they got there, people did not celebrate it the way the Nigerians are celebrating Burna Boy or Wizkid. We just spoke about it. fleetingly. And that was it. And now today, somebody else in another country has won a Grammy Award. And we are here lambasting our people. What exactly do we want as a people? Me, that's the question I pose. I think that all the conversation, it's good that we're raising it, because if that is what we want, then we have work to do, as far as I'm concerned. Because the fact that Burna Boy was able to get all these big guns behind his production speaks volumes.
And that is the ticket, actually.
Yes.
It's not the brilliance of the musician.
You see, but if the musician was not brilliant, will these big guns be
But, Uncle, my point
behind
is,
him?
different
when
factors to it.
Grammys doesn't award the most talented musician. There's no objective scale to measure the most talented person.
Yes, I'm
So,
looking at the personnel
brilliance
behind.
is like the entry point.
Yes.
But beyond that,
But
the extra value that comes.
But I'm
They
saying
try
the
to measure
personnel-
excellence according to them and
Yes.
their mechanics.
The
And
personnel-
I'm just doing an academic argument that it is not. You cannot objectively say that Beyonce is better than Rihanna. They
Yes,
all
agreed.
bring something
Yeah,
to the
plus and
table,
minus,
right?
yeah.
So there are other factors.
Correct.
Exposure,
But I am
familiarity,
saying that
networking, yes.
the underlying factor must be that those people who jump onto the act
Yeah.
must believe in the act.
Yes.
If they do not believe in the act or his potential, I don't think they would waste their time with him.
Uncle Ken,
right.
Yes.
sorry.
Martin.
What you are saying, in other words, is like there is no way Dr. Poe would get to Grammys. It can only be from a certain bracket of talented musicians.
Thank you.
So you continue.
And my point, Rasta, is that
go ahead.
that bracket is expansive.
I can to assume.
There are people, probably thousands of people as good as Burna in
In
Nigeria.
Ghana.
No, in Nigeria. But what differentiates Burna from there is probably the exposure, the networking, and the opportunity.
But how did he attain the exposure?
Yes.
Primarily, you must have that brilliance.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
So-
I agree with,
I mean,
that.
not disrespect to
Yes.
Dr. Poe. I mean, what's his song?
Dr.
I mean, you know,
Now who cause am?
I mean, that's a brilliant musician, senior bro. But we are talking Grammys here. You understand?
Yeah.
So obviously, we are not going to put our best foot, Dr. Poe, forward there based on brilliance. We put a Stonebwoy, Shatta, Sax. I mean,
course.
you understand? So primarily, you need that ingredient. So when you get that, it's you and your family.
But my
people,
problem, my point is that talent is in abundance. It is not unique. So Burna Boy being brilliant for me is, of
Okay.
course, I respect his brilliance. But there are many people as brilliant.
But
But
the
the
talent
difference
itself can be
between
relative,
the
really.
talent and
In
the
fact,
person
even
who
in
gets
Nigeria,
there.
he's not the
But there's
first to
another
have won a
side
Grammy.
Okay,
Yes,
gentlemen,
yes.
let's try to bring that.
You
Sadiq,
see,
yeah.
Uncle Ken, sorry.
you see the debate.
Yeah, I see the debate.
I'm enjoying it.
You know, you still get a very good one.
Because it's,
We haven't had Sadiq. Let me hear Sadiq, and I'll come back.
no,
to
no,
you.
come on,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Finish.
Why did you interrupt? Why did you interrupt Uncle Ken? Don't do that.
He's my uncle.
Uncle Ken, please finish.
so, from Rocky spoke,
Yeah.
gave his reasons.
Yeah.
And I think that if we want to progress, we should listen to what Rocky said in his interview with Lexus. You know, he made a very critical point. He said that the songwriting is important. Okay? The niche.
Should I go over it again?
The niche.
Do you want me
that
to play it
create.
again?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Just for those
Yeah.
that didn't hear. All right. This is what Rocky Dawani said.
It has to be innovative. It has to be representative of who you are, where you come from, an original sound.
Yeah.
And at the same time, too, you have to have your songwriting. You know, that's the problem. The problem here that we have a lot of people who can sing good. You know, they can have a beat and roll onto it. But the thing is that they are not creating songs. You know, a song is something that when you peel the beats even away from it, it can stand on its own. But to be able to jump on a beat and then, you know, bounce on the beat up and down and create some ear candy that everybody will hail you for a minute and it's gone, it's not songs. You know, you have to write real songs.
Okay.
And I think that is something that our artists need to educate themselves about, songwriting, because once you have a great song, the production can go in any direction and you still have the song being representative. So I think what I say the blueprint is that I embrace all these dimensions into this album.
And the album basically was able to break boundaries and was able to bring Ghana its first nomination.
Okay.
But, you know, the thing is that if that has happened, and we just need to be able to understand that, you know, I've seen people trying to say, oh, maybe Ghana will get a nomination. People still don't even come to the acknowledgement that we are already there.
So again, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
I mean, people can disagree
Yeah.
with most of the things that he said there. But I believe that the brilliance of the artist is important because, for instance, with Burna Boy, to get somebody to do a song with another Grammy winner like Yuzundu, pushed him up there. You know, and look at Angelique. How many times hasn't Angelique won?
Yeah.
How many times has Angelique won?
Yeah.
You know, and she's been unique.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, I'm interested in the production. The production counts. Because they are not going to listen to any shallow stuff and award that. Yeah. The production should be bam there. And Burna Boy's album is bam up there. Whether you like him or detest him, his album is there. And that's what we should be aiming at.
Yes.
So
Sadiq.
for me, you can look at it from different angles. I mean, one of the angles is a background that Chief gave, which is the fact that Ghana and Nigeria has always have that thing where, with each development, each country wants to, shade, particularly on social media, the other country, you know, and Chief summarized it well, for instance, where instances where a president is out there speaking brilliantly and doing things brilliantly, the Nigerians will use it against them. When you look at the fact that Ghana has a quite stable electricity situation or power situation, they use it to shade
NEPA.
Yes, NEPA. They use it to shade their country. Then there's an added fact of it where those that actually currently got nominated are seen more as contemporaries of some of our top acts today. You know, so there's always a story of how Burna Boy got a certain resonating effect in the country and how Shatta Wale, for instance, was there to lend his support to the resonating effect that Burna Boy got into the country. There's always the fact that Stonebwoy or Sarkodie, for instance, was gaining Pan-African attention before Wizkid began to gain the attention and all of that. There's that part as well where people are making the comparisons and suggesting that, okay, these guys were contemporaries, and it seems as though these guys had, by what they've achieved with Grammy, sort of bypassed them, you know, and there are different other angles to it as well. Then there is a part about the trolls and the fanatics. And so for some, the whole conversation on the Grammys may have started from the fanatics being just fanatics, using it to troll each other and to have a conversation. And I've seen others as well trying to use it to fly the kite for us to have a more progressive conversation about the music industry in terms of where we are headed and how we can leverage some of these proven strategies to gain global recognition and to bring some value back home. You know, so there are different sides to it. There's a fanatic side and then there's an industrial development side as well, which I like to associate more with, where you're looking at it, where it's opening up the conversation. How did Burna Boy get there? How did Wizkid get there? There's now a whole conversation around having a bigger system around you. You know, Burna Boy signed on a major. He signed to Atlantic.
Yeah.
Atlantic is owned by Warner.
Yeah.
And his album, the Twice as Tall album, was also
had
released.
names.
Also released
And
internationally.
Sadiq,
in a
even
major
when you
music
hear,
market.
forget the international release, when you
Yeah.
hear the names of the people
Yes,
behind
yes.
the album.
So,
But that's the point I was making.
Like,
So that's
and that's the point Chief Mumin was also making. That sometimes
Yes, so-
it may not entirely be about that talent, because when it comes to talent, there's a plethora of talent. There's a lot of talent. There's
But
so
John,
much
where
talent.
would the names
No, but
join?
see,
Where would the
listen to
names
Uncle
join
Ken
on
as well.
to
I'm
that
coming.
Listen to Uncle Ken as well.
Uncle
See,
Ken, no,
George,
the point
before-
is that, hold on. No, the reason
You think they'll
I'm
join
kind
up
of
to Patapata?
agreeing with
Excuse me.
Chief, I think there's a business side to it that if we are not careful, we may be beating our artists about without
No, but George, the
letting,
conversation
you
for
know.
me, like I said, when you fly the candidate, the conversation is good regardless. Now more than ever, for a lot of industry people that do not understand how to gain, because okay, whether you like it or not, the Grammys has become a reference point regarding how you can gain global recognition.
Definitely, no two ways about that.
So if that is something to look up to, then it's safe to say that, well, the conversation, this flying the conversation is opening it up for people in industry and those that do not know to have a more realistic conversation regarding how you can unlock global value for your music talent, particularly your top talent. You know, so now we're having conversation. We are breaking it down and understanding the Burna Boy situation, how he got there. Then there's a part where Uncle Ken is talking about the fact that, of course, before Atlantic signed Burna Boy being out there was a certain personal drive to be excellent.
We are
Even
saying
before
the
they
same.
came in
Exactly.
terms of what he was putting
Yes.
out there, some of the intentional things that he was doing
Exactly.
to end all of those things.
No,
You know, but today
that
the
is
conversation-
where what Rocky Downey also said comes in. The elements of originality, the elements of consistency, and some of all those things that he spoke about.
and then
truly,
the more
they
you go-
are important.
Yes,
but
very.
I feel, again, in agreement with what Chief said, I feel that if we are putting it in percentages, that aspect of it will just be about 30%.
Which aspect?
But the rest,
The talent
No,
aspect.
no,
the
you-
talent
hey,
aspect.
George,
hold on.
Talent are down.
George,
Opportunities are scarce.
if you're using
No, Sadiq, it's your
Okay,
airtime.
no,
I'll
no,
let you come in. Because if you ask me, I think there is a very important element that we are not looking at, which is network. Even Rocky Dawuni, when you look at branches of the same tree, have you gone to look at the production,
yes,
the
production,
people,
the people
on
that
there?
worked on it and all of that. So
Go and look like the Ed Sheeran one, that won Kill Beats, that earned him the nomination. Go and look at the people on there. So I think that network idea,
Which is-
very, 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 very
So
key.
you see why, which is good. You see
Yeah.
why I'm saying that the conversation, regardless, is opening up for us to have a more beneficial conversation around industry,
definitely.
which is good. Then there's another part. I disagree with you though when you say the talent is just about 30%. It's about
It is.
50%.
I'm telling you.
And this is why I say it's about
30%
Look, do a
talent.
historical analysis of the world, the category that will make it possible for Ghanaian artists or Pan-African or other talents that are not necessarily vested in the United States to win. When you take a look at it, it's also because these people are coming in with songs that have that are uniquely different. It defines a certain identity of where they are coming from.
That's the originality,
In this case,
yeah.
Burna Boy brought that, and then obviously because when he had the likes of PDD and some of these producers that are multiple
names.
Grammy-nominated producers to work on it, they understood the biggest music market, which is the United States, and
Yeah.
they had the ears to understand what will resonate with that particular
Of
market,
course.
and then they brought that to bear on Burna Boy's
on the production.
African whatever, and it created a certain unique product, which is a combination of that particular work.
Okay,
You know,
Sadiq,
but
Sadiq, do you
obviously,
think that...
as
No,
much as there's a-
hold on, I have a question for Sadiq. Hold on. Once upon a time, you were one of the finest artist managers in this country with gold hair and all those things. At that time... No, but that is true.
No, that's
It's a
true.
fact.
It's
No,
true.
that is true. You know,
It's true.
at that time, I'm sure you believed that you could pick any talent and turn it into a star, right or wrong?
Right, but not to the
Okay,
extent
hold
of
on,
the Grammys.
hold on. No worries.
Yeah.
You believed you could pick anybody at all because you were that good.
Not anybody at all.
Not anybody at all. That's the point.
No,
That
hold
is
on.
the point, George.
Hold on. Uncle Ken,
Not
let me land.
anybody
Uncle
at
Ken, let me
all.
land. You
Yeah.
see, in some of these debates, there's a Ceteris Paribus
You
level.
mean anybody at
All
all.
things being equal.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, no, you're
you
making
could have
for
you
the
understand?
benefits of the analysis
exactly.
you're making. You just go ahead.
Yes, you could have a certain people at a certain level. The point Chief is making is that
Obvio.
at that level you can find a lot,
of
people.
people. That's my point.
No,
Of
of course.
course,
I mean,
yeah.
George,
However,
So it's not a
even,
distinguishing
hold on,
factor.
even in Lagos, for me, when you put certain talents together, and I'm arranging artists in Lagos, I'll put someone like Adekunle Gold way above Burna Boy.
Yeah.
That
you
is
see,
me
George,
personally.
George,
My
what
favorite
Uncle
is
Ken
even
is trying to,
Burna Boy,
what Uncle Ken is
Brimo.
trying to, what Uncle Ken is trying to bring you guys your mind to is the fact that, as much as you seem right on the fact that there's abundance of talent,
Yeah.
even though it could be subjective, he's saying that don't dismiss the talent.
dismissal.
and
You
the
see, the
work
point
that
we are
Burna Boy-
making is that
no,
at
because
that
it
point,
seems
Sadiq,
to be-
hold on,
it
you
seems
see.
to be
No, not at all.
Sadiq, let me make
Let
make our arguments
Let
clear. Yes,
Sadiq
we've gotten his argument.
No, you haven't.
If
you had, you won't be
Our
talking
point is
again.
that at that
hold on.
level
Now,
of
Chief.
the conversation,
Uh-huh.
at that level of the conversation, it's not about talent. Because if you didn't have talent, you will not even make it to the table in the first place. Right now, you are on the table. It's
Yeah.
about which of the meals you are going to enjoy. So at that level of the conversation, we don't even talk about talent because you've already got, that's your pass. That's your passport to board, to do that. You've passed the boarding gate. You are on the flight. So now it's about where you are going to fly to. Look, Beyonce is not the most talented musician in the United States.
No.
Currently, she's about one of the most awarded in the Grammys, but she's not the most talented. When we're talking about pure talent, understand that there's a business around Beyonce.
And then there's
you
also
can take
personal
yes.
ambitions.
Oh yes, personal ambitions, business and personal ambitions.
That's what Uncle Ken
Yes.
doesn't want you to do.
no, yes, I agree. You have to be ambitious.
But Sadiq, as for personal ambitions, every artist has one.
You can take an average
Well,
talent.
ambition means differences.
And I use average advisedly.
That-
You can take an average talent and the system and the business and the exposure around that talent.
That is my disagreement.
No, that's see.
Oh, but
that's
Grammys are won by average talent all the time.
Hold on. Let's look at the African scene. Sadiq,
what is
give me
the-
1 second.
Yeah.
Look at the African scene. Are you telling me
Yusundo is
that
average talent,
Yusundo is
or
average?
Mariam-
Or
Amadou and
Angelique
Mariam-
Kidjo
I'm not
is
saying that. I said you
average.
can.
Amadou and Mariam are
You
average.
can.
No, but then
What are you talking about?
Gentlemen, one voice. Gentlemen, nobody is hearing you. Your microphone is out. Nobody can hear you. Nobody can hear you because we are clashing voices. Chief, hold on. Breathe. Everybody breathe. Gentlemen. Breathe, gentlemen. By Joy Entertainment. Gentlemen, there's a question for you. I'm not gonna say the name of who sent it. It's someone very prominent in our showbiz industry. Says George, please ask your panel. So which culture does Wile Sebe Kontomire represent?
This is for a Ghana market.
This is a troll.
You can present Wile Sebe Kontomire in a way that is
Yes,
Grammy
this
worthy.
is a troll. Look. You see, George. Let me say something
George.
about Kwame.
Oh, hold on.
Let me say something
Sadiq,
about
you have
Kwame
a minute to finish your point. Then would Rasta hasn't spoken on this.
Okay.
Yes.
So-
You finish your point.
Yeah, so let me
Yes.
just wrap up.
Yes.
I was making the point that at least this is opening up the conversation, and now we are appreciating the road path. That of course it takes talent, but there's a certain level of investment
That's
or
right.
Yeah.
intentional programming
Yeah.
that would take you to that particular point. And Burna Boy, for instance, really wanted it. There was that self ambition that this was going to add up to something to him, and he tried it last year when he did it. And last year, the album that he presented last year was also a very critically acclaimed album. as
Exactly.
well. And so you could see that the works on this particular one was targeted at ensuring that he get that particular excellence. So I know that we're having that conversation, but there's a certain realistic conversation as well we need to have, which is the fact that yes, our musicians are trying and pushing the envelopes, but the point is, are they necessarily having to release to gain that particular? Because and it's a flat no. Because Charlie, for you to actually aim at that and be able to be successful at that, it requires a certain level of investment that most of them do not have.
Thank you.
And that's
Okay.
a realistic conversation.
Thank
that
you.
Let me
we
go
should
to
have.
Rasta. Rasta,
Thank you.
You have the last word on this one. Okay.
Oh, last word.
Yeah.
Sure.
Africa, you see, we will not share Grammys here.
Let's do this one so we can go into our Grammys.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, listen, Nas, the rapper,
Yeah. How many years has he been?
he's
All
won
his career,
one.
This is the first.
This
Yeah.
is the first. Yeah.
Now, between Nas and Kanye West, I don't know who can tell me that Kanye West is a better
Rapper
musician, deliberate rapper than Nas.
Anybody who says
He's
that does
probably
not
more
understand hip
commercial.
hop. Anybody who says that does not understand. For
Yeah.
me, Biggie.
George, have you
Tupac.
asked you any
The point is the example doesn't even work. So let's go.
Nas
beg you.
commercially,
The example
Kanye
doesn't
West.
even work. Let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
uh-huh.
So you see-
Commercially
You see the problem? Thank
Chief,
you.
the bit
Yeah.
about
was commerce.
what Sadiq was saying,
Yeah.
there's been a deliberate attempt, ambition-wise, that I'm not just. You see, as an artist, once you create, that's where your satisfaction ends.
Yeah.
Any other appreciation, revenue or acclaim, it's
a bonus.
it's a bonus. Now, if and I mean, we are who we are. We are not musicians, but we do this for a reason. Listen, we can make that deduction that based on the way the albums were released, when you look at the muscle behind this second album, executive produced by Didi, quite clearly there's a deliberate attempt to take it there and claim it for a reason. It's almost as if the spotlight, and that your illustration you did, that once you have the passport, which is talent, and you're on the flight, it's about where you disembark or how far you're going. So yes, Burna is on the flight, but there's a deliberate attempt to put the spotlight on him.
Exactly.
And so
then you're agreeing with us.
no, you see, we are not
We
disagreeing.
agree with
Just
you,
that
but the point is that Uncle Ken is saying, be careful you don't trivialize.
No, we're
it.
not
Thank you.
trivializing.
But I think
Make
it's
it
been
seem like-
explained
yeah,
enough.
seem like, yeah.
Now,
With your NASA
Angelic,
even
Angelic Kidjo, 4-time Grammy Award winner, 5-time nominee, and so what? And so she can spit Sebe Wele Kontomre,
and it will be
and it will be unique because to those who matter out there, the academy and whatnot, that is different from anybody who comes to sing bread of heaven. Do you understand?
Feed me till I want to know more.
You know, so the point I'm trying to make is, if we are trying to relate to the whole brouhaha Grammys by these two, Burna. And I like the way Wizkid, for instance, is being quiet about this. Because you see, the
He's
truth
nonchalant
is,
about it.
the truth is,
In fact,
It
even
is
the Nigerians
not-
have been fleeting about it.
Sadiq.
Like, you know,
the truth is, it is not really his work.
Thank you.
Okay, and he is too huge.
to be
want to run on the back of
If you have any idea,
To
the-
bask in the glory of somebody else.
you know, the conversations that went into the split sheet of that particular record that he featured on the
and even the
Beyonce.
album is a split of the album.
It is such that that's a huge appreciation of the clout he brings to bear on a Beyonce product. There are almost every musician in Ghana here would want to do it for free, and rightly so, because you don't have anything. I mean, relatively, we are talking Wizkid, we are talking a Ghanaian act. Let's not, this is not Ghana red, gold, green matter. This is true to matter. This is fact. This is what have you done with your life up until now to have that conversation with Beyonce at that table. We all know that if Shatter's already bit had been nominated and had won, would have based in the whole Shatter.
We
thing
felt
that,
that his participation on the song was
you know, even that we want to enamel it in gold and hang it at Kotoka. And rightly so, because it's the biggest thing, like collaboration wise. But the truth of it is, he was featured on it alongside somebody we pretend doesn't exist, and before Beyonce himself. So again, we are very far from that flight that you are talking about. Very far. And the earlier we realize that it takes a combination of factors to get there. Because when Wizkid flew, when David flew,
Who's David?
sorry, Davido. When they flew, Burna Boy was still here with us. Okay, and
He had had issues in Nigeria.
do you understand? So again, it's about realigning. The uniqueness is primarily ought to be there. That's maybe why some of us would not wholly agree with legendary Rocky Dawuni with the ingredients required, or that would take us to
All of it or some of it?
Hey, no way.
almost all of it.
Gentlemen,
So-
let's move on.
and-
I
and-
have three music.
Yes,
Yes,
George,
we're running
George,
out of time.
I
Uncle
know,
Ken,
I
you-
See, that's why
Please.
when you come in with but for me, then we won't beat you up.
So let's go quickly. Let's go
But
quickly.
the shut
Yeah.
up matter,
Yeah.
please. I've heard some SM fans pose a question. Out of the two collabs between Wizkid and Shatter with Beyonce, which of the songs was very popular?
No, I think it was the one that Wizkid and Beyonce won was for the video.
It was a video.
It was
a song.
not the sound
the
press.
song.
It was not the song. It
not
was the
the song.
video.
The video.
Yes, it
The
was the
song was
video.
out.
But even the Shatter one
Yes,
could have even
you
won
know.
the video too.
It was the
also
video.
quite-
Exactly.
It was also released.
It was-
around-
yes.
Because some of them were arguing that Shatter's
Measuring
already was
skill.
more popular a
Oh,
song.
already
Oh,
was
yeah.
undoubtedly
Oh,
very
yeah.
popular.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
No, already was quite
Maybe they were
popular.
saying-
You
maybe they were
understand?
saying it
But
mainly-
it was
mainly
video.
in terms of-
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
video.
I
for
just
which,
wanted clarification.
he
Let me,
was,
Yeah.
so in
getting-
concluding what Rasta said, the
You have
difference
concluded.
between us and what's the other guy's name?
It's a
Kanye
commerce.
West. It's
a
not
commerce.
talent, it's
It's a
commerce.
commerce. Yes.
And
It's a
that's my
commerce.
point.
Yes.
At the end of
It's
the
a
day,
commerce.
it's not
Yes.
the talent that will distinguish you at the
Yes.
long
But both
run.
of them are
It's the
talented.
commerce.
Yeah,
Of
both
course.
of them, yes, it's a
And let me
commerce.
just take back
a
my
commerce.
statement about Beyonce's.
No,
Arabic
she's
talent.
very talented.
Before the Bayhive comes.
Yes.
They will come-
Definitely talents can be measured. I mean, I love Beyonce.
And gentlemen, to all our listeners out there, and wrapping up on this one, I think it would be very wrong for anyone to think talent does not matter. It would be very, very wrong because talent is the very first thing that would
That's
get
the
your
first
leg
thing,
into
that's
the
the
door.
first thing.
It is
And
key.
when- and
But
after
what
that,
we are
the-
saying, once your leg is in there, once you enter that room, you'd realize that there are so many other talents in
Yes,
there.
yes, yes.
You need other elements,
Correct.
and those
Not
elements
these, the
exactly.
personal ambition,
And
the
exactly,
work.
and that is why we said when you are putting percentages on all of them, the talent might be just about 30.
Yeah.
The others all come in to make it about.
Don't go there.
It's debatable, might.
go there.
Anyway, all
But
right.
anyway,
go
that's-
So
that's another
that's another
30
day.
cents.
We're about to get into 3 music awards.
I
Stay
will
on.
watch,
It's Showbiz
I
A to Z. The station is Joy 99.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The numbers have finally turned into names. Names of people we know. Names of people we love. Coronavirus is ravaging our country and taking